The secret of success can be found in the daily routine. The habits and routines are both ingrained patterns of behavior that we adopt in our daily lives, yet they differ in their underlying nature and formation. A habit is an automatic response to a specific cue or trigger, often developed through repetitive actions and reinforced over time. Now, once formed, habits become almost instinctual, requiring minimal conscious effort to execute. Now, they are deeply ingrained and can be challenging to change as they operate on a neurological level, residing in the basal ganglia of the brain. Now, examples of habits include biting nails when nervous or reaching for your phone first thing in the morning and just thinking about how many times you check your phone throughout the day. Now, on the other hand, routines encompass a set of intentional actions and behaviors deliberately organized in a particular order to achieve a specific purpose or outcome. Now, routines are typically conscious and purposeful, designed to structure and manage daily tasks efficiently. Now, unlike habits, routines are flexible and can be modified or replaced with relative ease as they are based on conscious decisions and preferences. Now, the classic example of a routine is a morning ritual where you follow a specific sequence of activities, such as stretching, meditating, and then having breakfast to kickstart your day with productivity and focus. So remember, habits are instinctual, routines are a conscious decision. Now, while habits tend to be more automatic and challenging to alter, routines are consciously constructed and adaptable, providing a sense of order and control in your life. So in this Walking for Health and Fitness podcast number 9, you will learn, number 1, the difference between habits and routines. Number 2, 5 steps to turning a routine into the habit of walking. Okay, this is a walking podcast. Number 3, you'll learn to apply what I call my small steps to big success to get you into the routine of preparing to get out the door and turn walking into a habit. And lastly, you'll learn 3 key variables that drive human behavior. Now, before I begin, please take a moment to follow this podcast and share it on your social media. Walking, it's the easiest way to get in shape and stay in shape. Let's get as many of our family members and friends out on a walk. Okay, remember this week's Walking for Health and Fitness quote: "The secret of success can be found in the daily routine." Let's begin. Caution, the information contained in this podcast may cause you to feel better than you have ever felt in your entire life. Symptoms include a broader smile, happier disposition, brighter outlook on life, and a general feeling of bliss. Proceed with wild abandon. Hello, I'm Frank Ring, the author of the Amazon bestseller, Walking for Health and Fitness, the easiest way to get in shape and stay in shape. I discovered the healing power of walking after a severe back injury put me out of work for 4 months and literally left me on my back trying to relieve the pain and heal. Through my books, website, YouTube videos, walking programs, and now this podcast, it's my mission to help others achieve a healthy, balanced lifestyle one step at a time through walking. Join me each episode as I discuss the physical and emotional benefits of walking, along with information about fitness, mindset, nutrition, wellness, and more. So join me each week as I encourage you to walk on. And this week's Walking for Health and Fitness main topic is habits and routines. It's important to understand the definition of each before we begin. So the definition of a habit is a settled or regular tendency or practice, especially one that is hard to give up. Now, as we go forward in this episode, keep in mind this hard to give up part as being associated with habits. The definition of routine, it's a sequence of actions regularly followed, a fixed program. Routines, they're easy to skip, like doing laundry, okay? Think about that. Habits feel uncomfortable when we don't do them. Habits are a behavior done with little or no thought. So if you smoke, it might be a habit to light up right after eating dinner or when you're stressed out. The smokers in my life describe this automatic process. For me, drinking coffee first thing in the morning and also right after dinner is a habit. Now, disregarding the physical addictions to nicotine or caffeine, the habit part comes in as the triggers of morning and after dinner relaxation come into play. Now remember, if you can procrastinate something, it's a routine. Now, only certain types of behaviors can become routines, and before we develop a habit, we must begin by making them a routine. Let's discuss how to start a healthy habit, such as walking. Now, I use the examples of smoking and caffeine, but since this is a podcast about walking, let me discuss how you can make walking a habit. Now, forming a habit requires sticking to a routine. Here are 5 steps to do this. Now, number 1, make time in your schedule. Number 2, expect some discomfort. Number 3, learn to cope with the discomfort. Number 4, find ways to pre-commit to the task. And number 5, experience big success with what I call small steps. So I'll break these 5 down. So as long as we know the difference between a habit, that's a behavior done with little or no thought, and a routine, a series of actions regularly followed, we can plan accordingly and not be disappointed. To make walking a habit, you need to begin with making the process of preparing to get out on the walk a routine. Now, use this episode to develop your get out the door routine based on knowing the difference between the habits and routines. So here we go. Number 1, schedule time. Now, since we don't count on routines to happen automatically the way habits do, we need to make sure you allocate time for them. Planning what you're going to do and when you're going to do it has been shown to boost the likelihood of following through. Without a dedicated time reserved for your new routine, chances are you'll never get it done. To develop the walking habit, first dedicate time to set out your clothes the night before. Set out your shirt, pants, socks, sneakers, jacket, your hip pack, water bottle, earbuds, a hat, sunglasses, or anything else to take with you on your walk. Now, this takes the guesswork out of what to wear and eliminates the need to search high and low for just that right pair of socks, which can add frustration or friction points to you getting out the door, if you did this the next day. For me, there's nothing more frustrating than wanting to get out the door and then can't find the right clothing that I want to wear. So prepare this the night before. Being prepared the night before eliminates a friction point, which I stated, and it smooths out the process and makes it easy to follow through to get out and walk. Also, have a destination in mind and where you'll walk. Over time, you'll create a number of go-to walking routes to make this an easy process. Now, on my walking log spreadsheet, I have a list of all the routes I walk and the mileage of each one. So when I'm planning my walk, I just look at my list, I know the mileage, and I go. This reduces another friction point. Whenever I'm looking for a new route, I use Google Earth or Map Pedometer to find routes and the mileage. Now, I discussed using technology in episode 8 of the Walking for Health and Fitness podcast, so go back and check that out. Now, number 2, in forming a new habit, expect discomfort. It's important to expect that learning and repeatedly doing a new behavior requires effort. Expect discomfort and know that you'll have to push through it. Developing new routines is not effortless. Setting out your walking gear each night might sound easy, but at first, since it's not part of your nightly routine right now, you may forget to do it or remember as you climb into bed and just get comfortable. Then you need to get up and set out the clothes, right? Disrupting your sleep pattern. Now, over time, as you continue to do this nightly task, you'll settle into a nice routine and setting out your gear will automatically become part of your bedtime routine. Now, in my Walking for Health and Fitness walking program, I teach you how to tie routine development into wins and how we all need wins every day. Even the small win of setting out your gear leads to greater self-confidence. Number 3, learn coping skills. Now, perception is a matter of perspective, no matter the routine. You can choose to reimagine your discomfort as a good thing. If walking is a new activity for you, you can learn to cope with the initial discomfort of exercising by imagining that every step you take is building stronger muscles in your legs and your core. Envision your toned stomach and muscular legs. Visualization is a key component to sticking with the fitness routine. Now, number 4, pre-commitment. Before a behavior can become a habit, it needs to become a regularly performed routine, which is what we're working on right here, okay? But given how effortful routines can be, it's far too easy to skip a difficult task. Remember, for our definition, routines are easy to skip. So thankfully, making a pre-commitment is a fantastic way to ensure that you will do what you say you will going to do. For instance, if walking or exercising daily is a routine you want to adopt, finding someone to hold you accountable will increase your odds of success. Now, I covered 5 ways to hold yourself accountable in episode 8 of the Walking for Health and Fitness podcast, and having an accountability partner is one of those ways. Now, number 5, experience big success with what I call small steps. By not expecting every aspiration to become an effortless habit, you increase your odds of success. If it's the right kind of behavior, one that can be done with little or no conscious thought, the routine can become habit. It's important to remember not to try to turn hard-to-do behaviors into habits. By doing so, you risk frustration and failure. So instead, accept that some behaviors will remain routines and expect them to never become effortless. By focusing on forming solid routines through the steps outlined above, you'll have a better chance of sticking to what's important to you, while increasing the odds that some routines may blossom into habits. Now, before I continue, I have a gift for you. Download the first 2 chapters of my Amazon best-selling book, Walking for Health and Fitness. This book explains all the benefits you get from walking, and you'll learn why walking is the easiest way to get in shape and stay in shape. So give these first 2 chapters a read, and then learn how you can get the audiobook for free so you can listen to it on your next walk. Now, this is from my Walking for Health and Fitness walking program. Take small steps to develop the routines that will lead to the walking habit. Now, to walk every day, or at least several times per week, takes developing many habits, or what I call small steps, to make the process of getting out the door nearly automatic. Now, here are some easy prompts, or these small steps, to get you out the door and walking. Now, for the first 2 small steps, I'm not even asking you to walk. Number 1, dedicate a place in your house to lay out your walking clothes the night before. Okay, we talked about that previously. Okay, your pants, your tops, your jacket. Look at the weather considerations for the next morning. This way you have everything ready and you reduce that friction point. Now, in the morning or the next day, whenever you walk, okay, put the walking clothes on. You don't even have to walk. Just put them on. And just doing that gives you a win for the day. Now, if you have the clothes on, it's much more likely that you'll get out to walk. And if you do decide to walk, then commit to walking for just 5 minutes. If you can walk longer than 5 minutes, that's great. Congratulations. But if you're not feeling it, then turn around and go home. Chances are, once you get out the door walking, you'll continue to go further. Now, athletes, even professional athletes, they say the toughest part of their workout is just getting out the door. So once they're out the door, their commitment just kicks in and they're ready to go. Same thing can happen for you. Now, here's the thing, and you'll find that Newton's first law of motion applies. A body at rest tends to remain at rest. A body in motion tends to stay in motion. Bodies will continue in their current state, whether at rest or in motion, unless acted upon by a greater outside force. Now, here's the reward. You get a win for each action you take towards your goal of walking for health and fitness. You get a win by preparing to walk. You get a win by putting on your clothes. You get a win by just getting out the door for at least 5 minutes. And you get a win if you decide to walk longer. That's a lot of winning in just one walk. Now, each small step toward your long-term goal is celebrated as a win. Just think about all the winning you will do on your way to walking to health and fitness in the coming days. Now, there are 3 key variables that drive human behavior. Motivation, which is your desire to do something. Ability, which is your capacity to do that thing. And prompts, which are the stimuli that trigger you to do it. Motivation alone occasionally inspires people to do extraordinary things. Like, think about a mother who lifts a car off of her child, right? We've heard stories like that. But generally, people's motivation levels are low, so they'll only take action that are comfortably within their abilities. Motivation may work for one-off feats, but more is needed for sustained change. And even that only happens when there are clear prompts. Wanting to be fit enough to walk 5 miles at a time, it's an aspiration. But aspirations are abstract outcomes. They tell you about the result you're trying to achieve, but not how you will achieve them. And motivation alone won't do the trick. Now, your behavior bridges this gap between the present moment and the desired future outcome. So, to build up to walking 5 miles at a time, it takes time. You need to consistently get out the door and walk several times per week. Bridging the gap between the aspirations of wanting to walk 5 miles and getting out the door to do it takes effort, planning, motivation, and a stick-to-it mentality. Developing mini habits, or what I call these small steps or prompts, compel you to take action to make the process of getting out the door to walk nearly automatic. The added benefits of these small steps: you'll boost your self-esteem. You'll see how these small step wins boost your self-esteem by doing things you were never brave enough to do before. You'll experience success every day. Small steps towards your goal give you a unique opportunity to experience success. Remember, 5 miles is daunting. Putting your clothes out each night, it's an easy win for you. Just having your clothes ready each evening for your morning walk is a success without having to even walk. And small steps gives you control. These small steps also make you feel like you're in control. Humans hate being out of control, or worse, being controlled by others. Now remember, the huge, I want to get out and walk 5 miles goal can take time and energy. If accomplishing that goal is 2 months away, you might begin to resent it. Then if you ever reach that 5-mile goal, you'll experience only success on that day and only that day. But by having small daily wins, the 2 months will fly by. You'll achieve many small wins each day and feel great every time you have that small success. Now think back to what you learned earlier about expecting discomfort along the way, but also learning coping skills. Now ultimately, you will reach your 5-mile goal or any goal you set to accomplish with this method. You'll learn it and accomplish it quicker. Now, throughout this main topic of habits and routines, I mentioned my Walking for Health and Fitness Complete Walking program. Now, the key to the whole program is the 60-day accountability playbook to get you into a walking and fitness routine. The quicker you make walking a daily habit, the quicker your health will improve. This playbook was designed to give you the very best opportunity to help yourself in achieving good health and fitness. Now, I call it a playbook and not a workbook because a simple mind shift in viewing walking and exercise as play and not work will go a long way to help you succeed. Now, using the playbook will definitely help you with your fitness routine and lead to the walking habit. The program is hosted on the Teachable Educational platform, and you can enroll in my course risk-free for 30-day trial. Now check out the link in the show notes, or go to walkingforhealthandfitness.com and check out the full program description. Okay? Read that description and see that this program is right for you. And in the cool down section, this episode's Health and Fitness Insight is from my walking logbook journal. It's available in paperback at Amazon.com. It's transformed into a problem solver. Now, once you start walking, an amazing process of transformation begins to take place. You'll begin to think more clearly, you'll be calmer, and your creativity and problem-solving skills will kick into overdrive. Now, try this out. As you prepare to go out for your walk, right, your pre-walk routine, think of a problem you are having. For example, I open my iPhone and create a new note in my Notes app. I dictate the problem at the top of the page. Then I do nothing. I just walk. I enjoy my surroundings. I enjoy the feeling of motion and enjoy the sense of accomplishing something by just being out on the walk. Then suddenly my mind will drift over to that problem that I put down in the Notes app. Now, when I'm walking, I find my mind just randomly goes someplace other than where I'm walking. And in this state, I begin to see solutions to problems I am having. Okay, so you can download the first 3 walking insights and the logbook pages to try out the walking logbook journal for yourself. Now, in sticking with the theme of this episode, use those first 3 weeks to develop the habit of writing in the journal part of it and reading its insights. Set out your pen and logbook. Read the weekly insight, get out on your walk, and as soon as you get back, record your time, your mileage, journal your thoughts, and fill in the words of wisdom section it's in the book. Okay? Quickly, this routine will become a good health habit. I'll leave a link in the show notes for those first 3 chapters of the Walking Logbook Journal. Just check it out. I know you're going to like this book. Now to sum up this episode. If you want to develop the habit of walking on a consistent basis, then first develop the routine of getting out the door. Now to do this, make time in your schedule. Number 2, expect some discomfort. Number 3, learn to cope with the discomfort. Number 4, find ways to pre-commit to the task. Number 5, experience big success with what I call small steps. And number 6, re-listen to this episode of the Walking for Health and Fitness podcast. This is an important topic for your long-term health and fitness. So this is Frank Ring from Walking for Health and Fitness. Thank you for listening. Check back next week for the next episode and walk on. And please give the Walking for Health and Fitness podcast a review. The most helpful place for you to do that is on Apple Podcasts, which you can do even if you aren't using an iPhone. Just log into your iTunes account and leave the show a review. Now, this really helps more people find the show so that they can learn about the benefits of walking and so much more. If you'd like to share the show, you can take a screenshot of this episode you're listening to right now and share it out on your Instagram stories. And when you do, make sure you tag me at Walking for Health and Fitness so I can see you're listening. Sharing your stories is going to help more people find this podcast. Also, share on all your social media. I'll leave my social media links in the episode notes. This is Frank Ring from Walking for Health and Fitness. Thanks again, and walk on.